Hi, welcome to episode 3 of the Pearls and Polish podcast. My name is Rachel and I'm coming to you from just outside Sacramento, California. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram, and those links are on my website, which is in the descriptions. And I'll link other makers, designers, creatives in the descriptions below as well. So, first day of February. So much to share with you over the last 2 weeks. So let's go ahead and get started. So one of my goals for the year, again, is the Make 8 sweaters. So this is week 6 of my first sweater, the Sheep Camp Sweater by Jennifer Berg. And you guys know from episodes 2 that I had to start that sweater a little late since I didn't like the yarn choice I had for my first sweater. So I was already a little behind. So I got through the sweater. I was trying it on to see how it fit, if I needed to add any length to the body. I was ahead of schedule, and if you follow me on Instagram, which you should, if you follow me on Instagram, then you saw in my stories that it didn't fit. And I'll put a picture in here as well to show you. But it was really early in the morning. My day hadn't started yet. I tried it on and it was too big. I was so sad. So I had a couple options. One was to give up, which isn't really an option. 2 was keep going and finish it and then see if I could find someone who it would fit. Or 3, start over. So I went with option 3. I really love this pattern. I love the yarn that I chose, the colors. So I really need this sweater in my wardrobe. So I pulled it all apart, about 4 weeks worth of work, done in about 30 minutes, and I started over. It was sad. So a couple reasons why things went wrong. So if you're not familiar with knitting, there's something called swatching. And a swatch is like a little sample. So you use your yarn and the needles that are suggested in the pattern, and you knit up a little sample. And in the pattern, it will tell you how many rows of knitting and how many stitches you should have. So your square, once it's washed and blocked, it should match this size in a 4x4 inch square. So when I did my swatch, I was off on my gauge, and that means if I knit the sweater with the needles and the yarn that I had picked, my sweater would have been either too big because I had too many stitches. It could be too long if I had too many rows per inch, or it could be too small. If I had not enough rows to hit that 4-inch mark, my sweater would be too small. So there's a lot of math that goes into knitting, especially garments like sweaters, socks. You kind of have to be exact. So because my yarn is thicker, I went up a needle size. So I could hit gauge, but I stayed with the pattern size that I had originally picked. And it just wasn't going to fit. So I had about 12 inches worth of extra-ness on the side. So I started over. I will show you my progress. I've got my sweater bag here. So I'm doing all right for having had to start over. Haven't given up yet. So I am done with my increases. So adding stitches in, this is called the yoke. So adding the stitches, so I'm at the widest part I'll be. So this will reach over my shoulders. I'll finish this pattern motif, and then it's called splitting for sleeves. So if you're not a knitter, I know a couple of you are not knitters, splitting for sleeves is, if you're looking at my Facebook sweater I'm wearing right now, I will knit up until this part, about mid-chest, and then you take the stitches that you would use for your sleeves and you put those aside, and then you knit the rest of the body. And then you come back and you pick up the stitches for your sleeves and you knit your sleeves. So we're making progress. Since I did have to start over, I decided that I wasn't going to try and kill myself and try and get it done as quickly as possible. Even though I really enjoy getting stuff done quickly, I also enjoy the process. So I'm trying to aim for about 5 rows a day, which is about one of those little triangle motifs. So if I can do those 5 rows a day, I'll be okay. And then the body will go by quickly and the sleeves will go by quickly as well. So super sad, but it's okay. We keep learning, we keep trying, but still sad. So that's the update on my Make 8 sweaters. Since this is week 6, I'm going to still stay on schedule with my Make 8. So next week I will start my cardigan. I've got the yarn for it. I'm all ready. So I will be working on both of those at the same time. Totally doable as long as I kind of pace myself and make sure I hit just kind of my personal benchmarks for that. In the comments from episode 2, someone was looking at how many sweaters they wanted to do in their year and said something along the lines about the timeline, setting timelines for getting stuff done. So like I said, I do about 6 weeks and I break that down even smaller. So I try and do about the top, so about mid-chest is considered the yoke of the sweater. So right before you start the sleeves. So I give myself about 2 weeks just for that top part. I give myself another 2 weeks for the body and then a week for each sleeve. If I'm doing shorter sleeves, I don't need that long. I can kind of move that time to somewhere else. So when you break it down to kind of bite-sized pieces, doing a sweater in 6 weeks is very doable. So that's kind of my process. But if you are a sweater knitter, I would love to hear how you accomplish sweaters. Do you set timelines? Do you just knit and go? What does that look like for you? So moving into Year of Socks. It is February 1st, which means a new yarn for the Year of Socks. Jess from shop, I'm always going to say this wrong, La Mercier. She is a genius. She has picked out some amazing dyers. So I've got my little bag here. This was a bag I got from, I believe it's Arrow Knits and Purls. Anyway, she's on Instagram. I follow her, and she was having a de-stash on her page. So this little bag she was getting rid of, and I was very happy to give it a little home. So I've got my February socks in here. So the dyer is Sarah from Craft Me Not, and she is based out of, I want to say Pennsylvania, somewhere back east. So anyways, she's got a beautiful story that she posted on her Instagram today about getting into the Year of Socks. Just a quick recap. Last year, she applied for the Year of Socks, didn't get in. She was a brand new dyer, had just opened up her website, just started an Instagram page, so she didn't have much of a portfolio to show, but set her goal for this year to be accepted for Year of Socks and did. So I've talked to Sarah a little bit online. She's the sweetest person. I'm waiting for a package from her pre-order from last year. She's pregnant. She got really sick, so she's had a couple stumbles, but she's just a lovely person. Been really excited to get to know her. So when I saw that this was her month to do the color, I was really excited. She is a new dyer to me, so just even more excitement with that. So this month's color is called Love Potion, and it's on her Super Sock base, and it's 75 merino superwash and 25% nylon, 463 yards, 100 grams, 4-ply yarn, and it comes with a little 20-gram mini. So I've already started my socks. This month I did the 20-gram mini as the cuff, and I'm going to do cuffs and toes just with this one. So it's this beautiful chocolate brown, and then this gorgeous red speckle. It's halfway between a tonal and a speckle, and I really like it. So 64 stitches on a 1.5 US 2.5 millimeter needle, and I'm doing these magic loop. So I did 20 rounds for the cuff, and I decided to do a twisted rib cuff. So just twisting the stitches a little bit just gives it a different look, different feel. I love the way it looks. I don't like doing it, so I'll definitely do it for the second sock, but I don't know if that's going to be something I do on a regular basis. And then for the leg and foot, I'm doing a ribbed sock this time. So 6 stitches here for this panel, and then a 2-stitch rib. So that's going to give it a little extra stretch. One thing that Sarah and I have talked about on Instagram was finding patterns for our type of feet. So I have very long feet and very thin feet. My aunt always called them cow tongue feet, because I guess cows have long, thin tongues. I don't know. So it's hard for me to get socks, specifically hand knit socks, that fit well, just because my foot is long and thin. So I'm hoping the ribbing with that stretch is going to add a little more to a better fit. And then I also have high arches, so I also need just a little extra room in my arch, but more snugness in my foot and toe. So that's where I'm at. The pattern I'm doing is called the Step Up Socks, and Denise from Earth Tones Girl did these socks specifically for the heel construction. It's got like a double flap type thing. I've never seen this heel before, but that's what this sock pattern has. So I'm gonna try it, see if it works for me. I've done short row heels, which is kind of what you find in commercial socks, which I love making short row heels, but wearing short row heels don't work very well for me since I have such a high instep. So now I've been doing the heel flap and gusset. So it's a little flap, and then you have like a triangle to kind of help with that instep. So that's helped a lot. So we'll see how this heel fits. But that's where we're at. We're chugging along. So I'm going to do probably 40 to 50 rounds for the leg. So this is 30 right now. So probably about this much more, and then I'll start the cuff, not the cuff, the heel. So progress, going along well. I started those this morning, so you can see they've been pretty obsessive. So the last part of my goals for the year is the Paisley Knits a yarn club for the gods, and the Zeus colorway, which was January, just shipped today. So it's coming from Canada, so it should be here by the 10th. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. Really excited to see that colorway. And then Coley just announced the February colorway. So that's based off of Dionysus. And it is the most beautiful purples and greens kind of color palette. All the dark, moody colors that I love. So that's going to be a really exciting color to see. So those are my goals for the year, but I've also been kind of just trying to wrap up projects. So for Christmas, I got an advent calendar from McMullin Fiber Co. And for yarn advents, it's one little package of yarn, typically for every day leading from December 1st to December 24th. And then on the 25th, Christmas morning, there's usually like a big package. So I got one from McMullin. I got one last year as well. And I love their colorways. And the last 2 years they've done literary themed colorways. So since I love books, I definitely had to get it. So this year I decided to do a blanket. I'm doing the habitation throw blanket, and I'm doing it a little bigger than what the pattern suggests. So each day from my Advent is a 20-gram ball of yarn. So I kind of kept track of how much I used per day. So every day I weighed my yarn before I used it, and then I weighed it after, and then just a little bit of math to figure out how much each section used. So it's kind of big, but here it is so far. Oh, we're stuck on a cable. Oh, Velcro. So here it is so far. So nice and big, and I'm only about halfway through. Velcro, oh my goodness. So this is day 1, going all the way down. Let me hold it this way. So each day is getting consecutively bigger. And then this gold color is day 25. So that is a whole 100-gram skein of yarn. So I used a bit of that for day 25. And now I'm starting again at day 1. So this red, where'd it go? This one. This is day 1. So since I used the smallest amount from this day, I'm going to use that for my second largest color panel. And I'm going day 1 through 25 again. So my last color will be this gold. This one right here. So it's kind of been meditative knitting. You don't have to think hard. The pattern is really easy to memorize, and just trying to get that done. Part of me just wants to be done with this project since it is a larger project, but also kind of enjoying the repetition of knitting that blanket. So I've been leaving that for the weekends, still working on my other projects, but trying to do 1 to 2 color panels for the blanket on the weekends so I can get a good dent into it. So there's that. And then the last thing I've been working on is another pair of socks, of course. So once I finished my January socks, I had some time, and I like to take a pair of socks with me, whether I'm running errands, waiting in line to pick up my kids, when I'm at work and I have a break. I like to have something small to work on. So socks is a perfect thing for that. So I finished the socks for my sister for her birthday. Her birthday was in November. I started her socks. I had to start them over. I ran out of yarn. So those are done. And I'm going to see her in a couple weeks so I can give this to her in person. So I started another pair of socks. This is the same pattern. This is my go-to comfort pattern. It's the High Desert Socks by Linsey Fowler. And it is such a simple pattern, but you can have so much creative freedom with it. So it's sock yarn held double. So you can use 2 different colors, the same color, speckles, tonals. You really have no limits. And then you have one contrasting color for the cuff. You have another contrasting color here for the leg, and then your main color held double. So this is Hickory Lane Fiber Co. And it's by Lisa, and she's based out of Pennsylvania. I've done a couple samples for her, so she's really lovely. And this is her Rockefeller color. So this is her Christmas color. And I am not opposed to using Christmas colors in February. So her Christmas set came with the main color and 2 mini skeins, which works perfect for these socks. So the pattern itself is a ribbed, I don't know if you can see that, but it's a ribbed leg, and then the top of the foot is ribbed. And it goes by so fast. I've knit 6, 7 pairs of this sock because it goes quickly. It's great for kind of stash busting, and they just fit well. They're warm, they're thicker, so I can wear them in my boots, and they're just really nice to knit up. So these are for me. So I've gotten the leg done. This is the heel flap, and I'm working on the gusset, which is this little triangle bit right here. And then this is the top of the foot. So since I have my February socks for the year of socks now, I'm gonna put these on hold until I finish February, and then I'll come back to these. But yeah, just nice little project to have on hand. And this is my unicorn bag. I made that. I'm not much of a seamstress, but my mom helped me make this. So it's the perfect size to hold all my yarn, my pattern, my socks, and just knit away. So I am gonna make at least 2 more of the high desert socks. I'll probably make more. Like I said, this is my favorite pattern. I'll probably make a couple more for my sister if she really likes them. It's just a great pattern. So, what I'm watching kind of coincides with what I'm reading. I finished the last book of the Guinevere Deception. I can't remember what it's called. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. But anyways, you'll see a picture on the screen. Great book. I loved how it ended. Definitely recommend all 3 of them, especially on audiobook. I really liked the narrator. And the next book I'm reading is Shadow and Bone, which has been around for a bit, and the last book in the series just came out. And Netflix just did a series based on the first book. So that came out, I want to say, over the winter. So I've seen the series before. I'm watching it again, just to kind of go along with the book, remember what is the same and what's a little different. So that's what I'm reading and watching right now. It looks like season 2 is going to be coming out soon. And then that's kind of it. We're just staying busy, trying to stay healthy. Got a couple big things coming up in February that I'm really looking forward to. So I'm excited to share those with you as they come along. So in the comments, love to hear if you're a sweater knitter, do you set timelines for your knits, or do you just knit? And then also, what are you looking forward to for this month? February is my birthday month, so I try and be intentional with goals, more so in February than I am in January. But yeah, what's this month have in store for you? So have a lovely February, and I will see you for episode 4.